I'm just saying I'm not finished yet. Search for it, swing for it, discover the me that lives in yes. Stand for it, stretch for it. It's my time, imagine my best. Run for it, reach for it, uncover the me that lives in yes. I know, yes I know, there'll be miracles wherever I go. It's not work, it's play. I can make magic today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Senior Nation. I'm your host, Phyllis Ayman, and you are listening to the Source TV Radio Network, WTSN, Washington, D.C. We are indeed a senior nation with 100 plus million adults over the age of 50. And we are here to bring you up-to-date information about successful aging, healthful longevity, and becoming what I call a well-ager. To dignity, respect, quality of life, and quality of care for our parents, our grandparents, and loved ones. We at Senior Nation will be your trusted voice for informed choices, meaningful conversations, and a vibrant life at every age. Though the Source TV Radio Network is known for its dedication to bringing the highest level of jazz content to the viewing and listening audience, the owners of the network are also dedicated to bringing this important content to this fast-growing demographic. And I'm always grateful that I had the opportunity. And now for tonight's guest, Dr. Geoff Rudy, who is a distinguished figure in chiropractic medicine, renowned for his expertise in sports performance, functional medicine, and chiropractic care. Currently serving as the Director of Chiropractic Medicine at Lauderdale Sports Performance Institute in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Dr. Rudy leads the field in promoting optimal health and performance strategies. With a career spanning over a decade, Dr. Rudy has held pivotal roles as head chiropractic and acupuncture physician at various prestigious clinics, including Coconut Grove, Fort Lauderdale, and downtown Miami. His contributions extend to elite athletes, having served as the Team Chiropractic Sports Medicine and acupuncturist for the Miami Marlins, Major League Baseball team, and the Miami United Soccer League. And he and I haven't had a chance to talk about soccer, but I'm very passionate about it. And my family has been involved with soccer and professional soccer for many, many years. Dr. Rudy's commitment to health and wellness extends beyond clinical practice. As the co-founder of the Level the Field Foundation, a nonprofit organization, he is dedicated to providing access to healthcare and promoting healthy lifestyles within communities. His academic achievements are equally impressive, holding a Doctor of Chiropractic Medicine from Southern California University of Health Sciences. Dr. Rudy is also pursuing a postdoctoral degree in functional medicine, showcasing his dedication to continuous learning and advancement in his field. So I'm thrilled to have him with me this evening on Senior Nation.
Phyllis, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. And actually, there was more, but I didn't want to bore everyone. Listening to me. You could say the rest of it. You might as well talk about yourself if you're comfortable doing that.
You know, the main points you already hit, that I focus in sports medicine, but I treat a wide variety of general population individuals here down in South Florida. Also having the privilege of working with a lot of NFL players that I do concierge medicine for with various teams all throughout the country. So I just finished up a very aggressive travel season for 4 months back and forth between Miami and several different teams around the East Coast. So I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be focusing on doing wonderful things like this with you and also focusing on Imbibe.
Yeah, well, I want to say, because if there were listeners that listened last week, and we talked about sleep, or maybe it was right before the holiday. I think, we talked about imbibe and sleep, and I thought it would be a good idea to have you on the show as the co-founder of the company and somebody, deeply rooted in the medical field who could explain it a little more in detail so that people can understand the importance, and we use the word sleep hygiene, of setting up some kind of sleep action plan for themselves in 2026. People think of, having resolutions for, diet or nutrition or exercise, whatever you want to say, or maybe other areas, but they don't think of sleep as something they do intentionally. They think of it as just a routine, something that happens at the end of the day, like you said, like brushing your teeth. And it has to, in order to really have optimal health, you really have to think about sleep in a much more intentional way. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important coming into the new year. Having routines that you're setting as a practice for your health and wellness. Now, sleep is almost like a ritualistic routine that we do, just like you would brush your teeth. But people don't really put as much forethought and thinking into the stages of sleep and how important it is to get the correct amount of sleep a night. And also, varying things that go into it, like the type of pillow that you're using, the type of mattress that you're laying on, certain other variables which are stimulus related. Are you watching television before you go to bed? Do you read a book? A lot of those things become factored into your sleep hygiene and your sleep routine. A lot of people get almost like they're mind boggled by so many different things that are out there and so many different types of information. Really, it's something that you have to play around with yourself and find out which type of routine works best for you. Definitely focusing in on some of the key components, such as the type of pillow that you're using, the type of mattress, the sheets, the room temperature is super important. All of those factors are hugely important in getting a really good night's sleep.
Right. So I just want to, I said this last when I had the last show with Michaeline, but I mentioned it to you before we started, that I've become much more aware of sleep positioning and the effect on my body since I had this hip replacement surgery just a few weeks ago. And just today, I was telling the physical therapist when I went for my appointment, that I had mentioned to you in our conversation that I'm realizing now when I lay on my right side, because the surgery was on the left, that the stretch and the draw on my left is becoming very uncomfortable. And I mentioned it to Michaeline, and she said, well, it's important sometimes to have a pillow between your legs, but what kind of pillow that is really the issue. And so I was telling the physical therapist about it, that I would have never been aware of all of this had I not had this surgery. So in a way, I'm bringing my own experience to this conversation in a different way.
Yeah, hugely important, not only for your, pelvic alignment when you're sleeping, having a pillow between your knees, but having the right pillow for your neck, whether you're a back sleeper or a side sleeper or a combo back and a side sleeper. We've even had some customers that have come to us and said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know it's not good for me, but I sleep on my stomach and my head is always turned in one direction or the other. Tell me, how do I make this, acceptable sleeping position? And we'll have conversations with, people, not only just about the product, but, about what mattress they're using. If you're laying on your stomach and you have a very soft mattress and the most dense part of your body is in your pelvis and you're sinking at night and you're laying into a big arch, you're going to wake up with a backache. You're going to wake up with a crick in your neck. So people, sometimes, when they start thinking about these things, they're like, well, goodness, well, maybe it is my mattress, or maybe it is, the type of pillow. What kind of mattress do I get? What type of pillow do I get? And that opens up a whole Pandora's box of conversations about, the pillow market, the bed market,
Right.
mattresses, mainly for us, at Imbibe Lifestyles, developing a series of pillows that range from orthopedic designs to a typical, hotel style pillow that you would use, has been really, really fun and exciting journey for us, because we started out, both Michaeline and I, both having back surgery and having problems sleeping. And 20 years ago, we had this conversation, said, you know what? We should someday develop, a pillow company and try and develop something that works for people with back pain, works for people with neck pain. Coincidentally, since then, I ended up having a neck fusion. So I really understood the importance of having the proper pillow for me to sleep with at night. And it's one of the reasons why we've been so passionate about producing great products, but also putting a lot of scientific, evidence-based research into our products and being able to test them. Luxury for me is I'm able to test the pillows with our patients at the clinic. So they give us immediate biofeedback. This works, this doesn't work. And that helps us go into the design of some of our products that we've come out with, which I'm super excited to talk to you about tonight.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you touched on something. I know we have a video, and I want people to get a chance to see that first. It might kind of help them, understand a little bit more about Imbibe. But, when I had the conversation, you mentioned it also just now. The relationship between the pillow and the mattress has a lot to do with your sleep. And I was asking her about, and she told me that you're working with mattress companies, because I think that's really important. You can't just put, any old pillow on your mattress, or have these pillows and then just get any old mattress, right? Well,
a lot of it has to go into actually teaching the consumer, right? Helping educate them so that they understand that even though they might be sleeping on a really, really firm pillow, they like a firm pillow. They don't like something that's, super squishy and full of feathers and collapses, and they have to fluff it up a million times at night. But then they're sleeping on a mattress. They have a firm pillow and they're sleeping on a mattress that dips in the middle. And then their neck is going up on an angle, and they'll say, well, goodness, I like the pillow, but I'm still waking up with a crick in my neck. And I said, it's not the pillow, it's the mattress.
Right.
So if you're going to have a conversation about one, you have to bring in both.
Right.
Effectively. Obviously, we just focus on the pillow portion. I would love at some point to be able to work into, the mattress market as well. But for right now, it's a dual conversation. You have to be able to educate individuals on what type of mattress is going to work for them and for their body. Like you said, you prefer sleeping in X position. You had a hip replacement. These are the best positions that your body likes. For you, a soft mattress might not work well for you.
Right. No, I have a firm mattress. Actually, I think I used to sleep on my left more, and I can't really do that 100% comfortably now, because I can, as I'm improving, but it's, I could feel it and it's not that comfortable. And then I remind myself, I say, oh my God, I should probably switch my position. But that's probably my default, on my left side. But shall we show this video that we have, which might set up for the listeners and the viewers, more about Imbibe and what it's about. So I'm hoping that we can... Well, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, you can actually see in there some of those images that I was even just explaining to you about being on a mattress with a pillow that was, that was lofty and it didn't have a bunch of support. So you actually got a visual there in person.
Right. So I know when Michaeline was on the show, she talked about the different pillows, and we'll get into that later. And then in the video, we have some still graphics that we could view later that you can talk about in more detail about what all that means, the different layers and what's in it, and why those layers are important. But that was cool. And it does give people a visual in a way that they haven't probably thought about it before. I mean, I think there are some television commercials where they show the spine, but they don't explain why it's important for your, at least the ones I have seen, why it's important for your spine to be in a certain alignment while you're sleeping, and the effect that could have on headaches, TMJ, on physical conditions, right? Headaches, TMJ. I'm sure you can tell me about some others. Those are some.
I've tested so many hundreds and hundreds of pillows. A lot of the ones that say they can do this, say they can do that. Ones that are multi-diversified pillow. You can sleep on your side. You can sleep on your back. You can flip flop in the middle of the night. The interesting thing is when I tested them, it really only worked in one sort of like plane of motion. So if you were a side sleeper, but if you went to your back, then it kind of sort of really worked as a back sleeping pillow, but it didn't give you the right support. And in our research, we came up with 3 different types of orthopedic pillows that we felt were going to reach the most target market of individuals, right? You're never going to find a pillow that's going to fit everybody. It's like a pair of socks, right? We all like a different feel, a different texture, the way that it feels when it's hugging our body. So the products that we launched with were the ones that the research came back and showed us that the majority of the people need the most support. Our regular normal pillow, which would be sort of like a hospitality hotel pillow that's obviously used in regular sleeping at home, is our Pearl Thick and Thin. Now, what makes the Pearl Thick and Thin unique, which will be incorporated into the rest of our products as well, is the combination of nanoparticle infusion into the polyurethane foam. Now, I know this is going to sound like a lot of really technical terms.
Right.
Try and break it down for you and your audience. So it would be called elemental nanoparticle infusion. So utilizing elements in the periodic table that have great healing qualities to them, such as copper. Copper has been used for centuries for even to drink out of. Even the pharaohs would only drink out of copper cups because it would be inhibiting bacteria, right? So bacteria wouldn't be able to live in a copper-rich environment because the way that the ions are moving, it will break down the cell structure of bacteria and it will die. The same thing with silver. Silver has been used for jewelry for years,
right?
Mainly because it's a phase-changing element. So you can touch a silver ring, and it feels cold to the touch. But you put it on your finger, and within a minute, it warms up.
Right.
It will change, and it will do vice versa. So if you're sleeping on something that's silver, and you're hot when you go to bed, as soon as you lay on it, you're going to feel cold. Now, if you're cold and you lay your head on something silver, it will warm you up. So it will phase change with your body temperature. So we've taken this elemental fusion of nanoparticles and we've put them into our pillows. We put the copper, billions and billions and billions of pieces of copper throughout the foam. So the particles are actually suspended in the foam. And I think we have a graphic if you...
I was just going to say that. I think we have a graphic that, not that one, that shows...
That would be like silver part, like a...
No, it's the one that shows the layers.
Correct.
Right? I think it shows... There we go.
Nope,
right.
We got one more. There's one more as well.
But this one, you can describe this one.
Yep. Yep. So if you look at the one that says airflow ventilation, the one that looks a little orange, that would be that core component of our pillow has billions and billions and billions of particles of copper throughout it. Now, copper's not only has wonderful properties of being, healing, promoting, health and wellness in a multitude of ways. It also does great things with heat, dissipating heat. So if you're hot and you're laying on something that's infused with copper, you want to imagine that pillow has billions and billions of pieces of little molecular structures that are suspended. As you lay on them and compress them, those structures come closer together. So that electrostatic energy between one copper ion and another copper ion, when they get closer together, it provides electrostatic energy, which dissipates heat. So if we're sleeping on a product that's full of billions and billions of, ions of copper, and you compress it, it really does well with heat dissipation. Also great for fighting microbes and fungus, right? So fungus and microbes are also, copper is amazing for. Now, if you look at the a level above where the copper was, you can see the antimicrobial silver. So that silver kind of material is put on the outside of our pillow. And this is a patent that we've created to be able to utilize these components together to create a product that is going to have the most antimicrobial benefits to it, but also have the most healing benefits, and also be able to dissipate heat and do heat transfers as well. So the silver will be on the outside of the actual core of the pillow, and then we have the cover on the top and then on the bottom.
Right. So I just thought of something when you were talking about the copper. I mean, who's the athlete that has all of the copper infused? Now it's like athletic wear, but he started with like braces for the knee, or who is Tommy Copper? Isn't that what it's called?
I'm familiar with the copper braces. I'm not sure if it's who the individual is behind it.
It's an athlete. I forgot who it is, but now he's doing things for women, sports bras, and now he's doing a variety of sports apparel.
Yeah.
That all have the copper in it, and obviously it must be for the same reason.
Yeah. So they actually have, I believe, don't quote me on this, but it's the copper threading, right? So they're able to weave the copper thread through the actual products itself. Same particular example as our product, that the copper has all of the same healing benefits, except it's going to be in nylon, or it's going to be in whatever the coating is of the knee brace, or et cetera, et cetera. We've just chosen to put it in the core of our structure of our pillow. Oh,
so we could take that graphic off, because we have a couple of others that we'll want to get to.
Sure.
So yeah, there are a few different styles. I'll call them styles of pillow. There's the Aruna. There's the maybe you could just talk about it. We saw it in the video briefly, but maybe you could just talk about it quickly and then explain what each one is for or why it's different.
Yeah, so we have the Pearl, which is the thick and thin version of it. We're also coming out with a Pearl Junior, which is going to be a smaller version of it. It works fantastic as a travel pillow. It is the exact same components as our larger version of the Pearl Thick and Thin. It will have the same silver, the same copper interior and core. It's just a smaller pillow. Now, I've used that for traveling. When I was traveling back and forth with my football players, it works amazing as a lumbar support cushion. It works amazing putting it against the airplane window when you're trying to take a nap. Interestingly enough, we have had a lot of consumers that have wanted to purchase them for their junior kids, their young Yeah, the certain ages, not in, infants, but a little bit older, because there's not a whole lot of pillows that are out there on the market for that particular age group. So it seems to fit that particular demographic really well. We have a side and a back sleeping combination pillow, which is our Aruna, which will be coming out soon. That will have sort of like a patented neck curvature on it and a little bit of a shoulder holder. So when you're sleeping at night, your shoulder can really comfortably nestle up into the pillow while you can get your neck length sort of cradled and held over the curvature of that pillow. Mm-hmm. Now, we did a lot of research for years in coming up with the length of, the designs, and we have case studies, 250 plus individuals, where we took all of their demographics and their size and their weight and came up with measurements of what an average size, neck would be per individual. Now, interestingly enough, I had football players that were 6'7", 275 pounds, who had shorter neck lengths than a 5'3" woman who was 110 pounds. So it really just kind of messed with our SKUs. But what it did was it really challenged us to come up with, designs that were going to be diversified enough to be able to reach the audience that we were reaching, but also have the unique shapes that were going to be benefiting people from an orthopedic standpoint. So those will be the ones that will be coming out first. The next ones will be, it is going to be the Jilly. Now the Jilly is the back sleeping pillow only. Now this one's going to be a game changer for a multitude of reasons. You and I were chatting on the phone about it just yesterday. The original design was meant to induce a neutral curvature into your neck when you're sleeping.
Right.
Now, I know it sounds really, really complicated when you put all the medical, terminologies behind it, but a lot of us are familiar with that text neck phrase, which is going around that, a lot of, interestingly enough, a lot of young kids are actually developing it now at a rather young age, because all of the, the tools that they use for education are, small computers and books.
Right, and everybody's walking around. I mean, you could almost, not to interrupt you, but you could almost see somebody walking, not from the back, not knowing what they're doing, and know that they're on a phone or a device, because you could just, this is how people walk, which obviously is going to affect a curvature, much earlier, or than they probably would. They're not even thinking about that. And actually, I'm just going to tell you that I experienced it many years ago without realizing it. And I've tried to kind of counteract it. I haven't been able to 100%, but I've tried, because when I was working in facilities and I would be working with certain people, I started wearing glasses and I started doing this. And then I found myself, oh my God, my neck is like that. And it took a lot for me, and still does a little bit for me, to kind of straighten it. And it's not 100%, but it's certainly better than it was. And so it's the same thing with with the phone, because everybody's like this all the time.
Yeah, it's called a hypolordosis of your cervical. Right. So you're losing that neutral curvature in your neck, because your head is approximately, 12, 14 pounds. And as it pulls your head forwards this way, it will take that curvature and it will make it like a military neck, where it will go straight up and down. Now that will cause a whole bunch of pain and discomfort in the ways that you sleep, the way that you rotate your head when you're trying to, look in your rearview mirror in your car. Your rotational abilities will be limited. A lot of things, if you think about it, owls actually have a really large curvature in their neck, right? Now, the reason why is because the angles of their facet joints are really, they're angled so that they can change, which is why they can turn their head all the way around.
Oh, wow.
Now, humans have 3 different angles, but as your head goes forwards, those angles become even more limited, right? And they start to lock. So people will find that the only rotation that they would be able to have is like just being able to look barely to their shoulder instead of looking around or behind their shoulder. What we wanted to do was to come up with a product that not only was comfortable for back sleepers, but was going to be correcting you while you're sleeping. So if you almost imagine that you're rolling up, a little towel and you're putting it behind the back of your neck while you're sleeping, it will push your neck into a little bit of a curvature, and inducing that curvature pushes your facet joints apart, and it will actually open up that space where the discs are, which I will explain a little bit further because you wanted me to explain the name of our company, which is a whole story. So we're going to come back to that one. But the reason why we put the curvature in the back sleeping pillow was to correct a lot of these conditions while you're sleeping. If you're going to spend 6-8 hours sleeping at night, let's make it not only comfortable, but make it a corrective so that you're killing two birds with one stone and waking up better, refreshed, slept longer, less discomfort, no pain. We had talked about conditions just yesterday of, everything from sleep apnea to migraines to TMJ dysfunction. The back sleeping pillow that we have designed will help with a lot of those conditions. And we're going to be testing and are testing currently the efficacy of how well it works for specific conditions.
Right.
Now, inducing a neutral curve while you're sleeping is going to help, period. Even if you rolled up a towel and put it underneath the back of your neck while you're laying on your bed at night, it is going to induce a neutral curvature. That process is called imbibition. And imbibition is the rehydration of fluids into your nucleus pulposus, your disc, in your spine when you're sleeping. So it happens during nocturnal sleep, and your body wants to suck in all of those nutrients to almost refill the balloon back up. It's one of the reasons why when you go to bed at night and you measure your height, you're shorter at night than when you get up in the morning, because throughout the day your discs do start to shrink and the fluid does get extracted. Now, your body will naturally pull that fluid back in while you're sleeping at night if you're in the right positions. Now, if you're in terrible positions, you're not going to have the greatest, imbibition is not going to occur as well as if you were in the right positions. So our company name is called Imbibe, which is short for the process of imbibition, which is creating products that are going to put you into the best situation to induce imbibition while you're sleeping, which is going to help with, so many of these conditions that we've talked about before, and a whole bunch of, other wonderful things as well.
Yeah, that I always wondered why I had never asked Michaeline. I know her for a few years now. I actually never asked her why the company was named Imbibe. And she mentioned it when she was on the show the last time. I'm glad you mentioned it again because, not only for me, but I'm sure, it's not a word that people walk around saying. So they probably would wonder, what does that mean or where does it come from? So that was very actually ingenious, for sure. Now, I think we have some other graphics here. The next one I thought we could bring up, and then you could talk a little bit about what that one is. I think the next graphic is, what was that one showing? Do you remember?
I believe we had one of the silver PCM that was on the outside.
Right. So it was like a close-up so people could really see what that looks like. There we go. Right.
Yeah. So if you want to imagine, if you combined, billions and billions of particles of silver and you put it into a substance that had the capabilities of reducing heat. So we're using a PCM gel that has our silver in it that will go on the outside of our pillows. Now, those nanoparticles are going to absorb and liberate heat. It's going to be phase changing, which means it's going to change your body temperature. And you also have all the antimicrobial properties as well. So you're getting a wonderful kick for, what it is that's going. The interesting thing is that we've used an aqua coolant gel to put the silver in. So the actual temperature, the surface temperature of your skin when you lay on the outside surface of our product will drop your body temperature between 6 and 8 degrees. You will feel the cold. You'll feel it like a really comfortable cooling sensation. Now, because it's silver, the longer you would lay on it, your body would assimilate to that temperature, right? So it would phase change. So it's not going to stay freezing cold throughout the rest of 6 or 8 hours of sleep. Our tests have shown it will last up to 60 minutes. The rest of the product is where it will take over. The copper will take over. The holes that you're seeing in this actual pillow are ventilation airflow holes, so that when you compress the pillow, the air will be released from it. So you're almost imagining like if you go to a doctor and you've got a tendonitis in your elbow, they're going to inject a short-acting medication and a long-acting medication. We want to think of our pillow as having like a short-acting, wow factor on the outside, and then the long-acting medication is the billions of copper particles on the inside, which take over while you're sleeping throughout the rest of the evening. So it's quite a unique product that we're really, really excited to share with the world.
I actually don't have one of these pillows. I think I should get one. I'm just saying.
Get one soon.
I think I could be a spokesperson for the pillow. I actually had mentioned this to Michaeline, and I think you and I spoke about it briefly. I know the pillow has a higher cost than a lot of other pillows. Maybe you want to talk about that, and I want you to tell people where they could get the pillow if they were interested in it. But too often, I think. You and I come from this medical care space, and too often, I think they only look at the money that's being spent, and they don't look at the savings or the benefit. Doing a real a cost analysis of what that money that they're spending represents, that would actually be a positive. But they don't look at it that way. And so I was saying to, people in, I had this hip replacement, right? I've seen thousands of people in skilled nursing, short-term rehab, who've had hip replacements. Now I know what I'm experiencing with this, right? So I can only imagine what they're experiencing. They have the same pillow, that everybody else has. And I know, countless people with sleep apnea and, a variety of other conditions, right? And, wouldn't it be great if, they saw the value? Because if people wake up feeling better, rejuvenated, more rested, because I tell people, I've asked people, when does your day begin? Oh, I get up at 5 or I get up at 7 or whatever it is. I do 20 minutes of reading, meditation. I say, in actuality, your day begins with your night's sleep the night before.
That is true fact.
Right. And so if people wake up feeling better, feeling rested, feeling more energized, feeling rejuvenated, how they move forward through the day and their responses, how they respond emotionally, how they respond psychologically is so vastly different that the benefit would be so huge as compared to whatever the cost of that pillow is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's invest in your health. It
Right.
kind of comes right down to it. Invest in your health, and sleeping is such an important part of our health. If you think about the amount of hours in your entire lifetime that you're spent sleeping, which is your body's ability to flush out garbage, recycle through, heal your body, and you're not going to invest in that part of your life. I mean, it's huge for recovery. It's the most important thing,
Right.
that we can do. Our product is retailing about $199. Now, it's a little expensive for, obviously, general consumers. People say, well, I can get a pillow for half that price.
I could get one for $20 on Amazon.
The differences are, you need to put in time and research into what you're investing in. And we would want people to put in time and research investing in our product as well. Obviously, our product has nanoparticle infusion. We've had to add copper onto the interior core. We're adding graphite into the interior core. We're adding silver to the exterior. We're coming up with all these ways to be able to make a pillow more than a pillow so that it helps you sleep better at night. The cooling factor with that people ask me about, well, why did you put the aqua coolant gel on it? And when you teach people that when you're falling asleep at night, in order to get into that N1 phase of sleep, your body will naturally downregulate its nervous system and its body temperature by a couple degrees. And it's going to try and to bring it down a little bit so that your body will kick in and say, okay, it's time for you to go to fall asleep. When you're laying on something that feels cool at night and your brain is already saying, oh, now I get it, I'm supposed to go into this rhythm. And then it's starting to fall into that pattern faster. And then while you're falling into that sleep phase quicker, and then you're getting into that second N1 and 2 phase of sleep, and then you're falling into a great REM cycle, and you're not tossing and turning the whole night long, flipping back and forth, and your REM cycle is solid for a sustainable period of time. That is a humongous thing in how you function the next day. If you're struggling with any of these different phases of sleep, and it could be because of a pillow or your mattress or a shoulder pain or neck pain, then consumers have a due diligent right to go and investigate products and look for things and research themselves and find out as much information as they can, which is great that you're able to have us on the show to be able to help educate people on how to improve some of these things.
Right. So I'm just thinking, if people really think about their sleep or their pillow as affecting their sleep, my hunch is they probably don't. And they probably don't. They might say, oh, I don't sleep well at night. I get up a few times during the night. There are a variety of things. I toss and turn all night, but they're not really thinking about, gee, maybe I need to look into getting a different pillow. Maybe that would help me sleep better. Or maybe because the pillow I'm using is affecting my neck or my spine, whatever it is. My thinking just intuitively is that people are not, thinking about that in that way. And so, you said what the price of the pillow is. And if people wanted to get the pillow, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, we're currently elevating our pillows to a new manufacturer, which we're excited to be able to launch. We're looking forward to doing the new products coming out in February. It's going to be the same pillows. We're just changing the manufacturer, which is going to heighten the experience. And also the capabilities at this manufacturing facility are absolutely astounding. So the product that's coming out of there is absolutely gobsmacking. So we're excited to share it. Hopefully we'll be able to share a launch date with you soon. We're looking for February, and it will be, you can buy them at www.imbibelifestyles.com.
Right. And that's IMBIBE.
Correct.
Right. Imbibe Lifestyles with an S.com. So now I think we had another graphic that showed the microbes, right? There we go, right?
So those are, you would imagine those as like little nanoparticles of copper. And I think we had one other graphic that was there, and you were able to see in the graphic there that precisely right there. So if you look at that particular picture and you see all those little specks that are in there, those specks are billions of pieces of copper throughout that whole product.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how much copper is in the product. And like we talked about earlier, when you compress it, the energy of the copper is being released into your body. So all of the healing properties and all of the wonderful things that copper does, the antimicrobial benefits, the liberation of heat, the ability to fight against fungus. That's been another wonderful, sidebar for us, is that we had our pillows tested for G21 testing to pass an antifungal test. And it did with flying colors, and partially because of the components that are in it do fight against fungus. So, of course, I live here in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. We're on the water. We have a lot.
Humid.
It's very, very humid here, and we have a lot of people that use boats, right? And the yacht industry is huge in asking, listen, can you come up with a pillow that we can use on our yachts that doesn't get fungus in it? Because these pillows are out here on the water, for weeks and weeks and months on end. And it's been fun to be able to collaborate with a lot of people in the boating industry as well as the hotel industry, the cruise ship industry.
Right,
so
right.
really
I was thinking of that, the hotel industry especially. And so, and we also talked about, so I know I was going to ask you a question. Do you ever think it would get to a point where a doctor would actually write a prescription for this pillow?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And yes, and I'll tell you why. One, because I am a chiropractic physician, and I am really, really ambitious about trying to make sure that we can get a product that will pass the testing, where you will be able to have a physician write you a prescription, so that it would be able to be covered by HSA cards, your flex medical spending accounts, and even some insurances. Just like you would imagine, like an orthotic is the prescription, correct?
Right, right.
We write prescriptions for orthotics all the time for patients. I make orthotics for patients. It would be no different, because the pillow is basically an orthosis fabrication for your neck and your shoulder. So for people who have these chronic conditions, or different types of sleeping issues such as sleep apnea or TMJ, that a physician should be able to write you a prescription for a durable medical device. There's a whole lot of process and steps to be able to get it to a point where you would be able to have it passed as a durable medical device.
Right. Sorry not to interrupt you. That was, as you said it, I'm thinking,
not an easy endeavor, but we are ambitious
to get a code, a reimbursement code. That's a whole other story. I mean, that takes a very long time, but I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of even physicians, like I had spoken to you yesterday that we had a lot of interest for our back sleeping pillow come from the cosmetic industry, dermatologists, plastic surgeons, because of the antimicrobial benefits of sleeping on a product that wasn't going to create blemishes or things like that on your skin due to the ability to fight microbes, but also the positioning of the back sleeping pillow for individuals who are having any type of cosmetic work, or people who don't want to sleep on their side because they're afraid that the nasolabial area of their face is going to get smushed and they're going to get wrinkles in their face, so they want to sleep only on their back. They don't want their head to turn. And people have said, gosh, I've tried your product, and this is great because my wife refuses to sleep on her side. She will not sleep on her side. She's afraid she's going to get wrinkles. And I said, well, this is a interesting sidebar. I mean, this is fantastic. But even a lot of the dermatologists said, this product, when we even used it, does inhibit your ability to turn your neck from side to side. And when we prescribe, patients when they leave the office, when they have either Botox or dermatological fillers, not to sleep on their side, not to sleep on their face, not to get a massage or anything.
Because whatever it is going to move, right?
You do not want it to move. So,
and you're going to wind up with a lopsided cheek or a lopsided whatever. Right?
Yeah, so our back sleeping pillow has, you know, all these other wonderful different side benefits as well. But, you know, it's exciting creating a product that we can market to a whole bunch of different audiences, you know, so
Right.
consumers can really reap the benefits of getting a better night's sleep and just sleeping on something that's comfortable for them.
I'm thinking back. I had some cosmetic surgery years ago. Many, I can't even tell you how many years ago it is now, on my eyes. And I'm thinking, I don't remember them telling me that I had to sleep on my back, but it would have made sense. It was so long ago that I don't really remember. I still have the pictures of it actually, but you know, obviously my eyes were very black and blue. I couldn't have slept on my side. I'm sure at the time it was very uncomfortable, just like it was when I had the hip surgery and I had to sleep on my back. I mean, it was just, so if you have a pillow that kind of allows your body to stay in that position, so you're not actually struggling to do that, which is obviously counterintuitive to resting comfortably in sleep.
Yeah.
So you're otherwise you're fighting with yourself.
Yeah, correct. And staying in those positions, you know, for long periods of time is, you know, it's hard because your body wants to, you know, switch and move, and sleeping on your back and staying on your back is for a lot of people very challenging to do. I have a lot of patients who say, I can always start out on my back, but I can't stay there. I start, but then next thing you know, I'm rolling on my side.
That's me, right?
And so, you know, we wanted to create a product that was going to help them stay in that position longer, right? And when you start to feel like you have that urge to roll on your side and your neck wants to turn to one side, the neck is so cradled and supported that your brain is saying, no, I'm good right here.
Right. Right. And yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, otherwise you're not tossing and turning and trying to create a comfortable position for yourself. And in doing that, you're obviously interrupting your sleep.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you get up, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I find myself, interestingly enough, I you know, that's why they say to lower the temperature in the room when you go to sleep, because, you know, your body needs to be, not be warm, right? It helps create a more restful sleep. But then I find that even when I do that, you know, down the road, I might depend, you know, I get warmer and then it's uncomfortable and then I wake up and, you know, so if there's a pillow that helps create kind of this temperature homeostasis that goes from the, you know, the top of your head through your body, I mean, I can't think of anything better.
Well, I'm going to be really excited to share it with you as soon as we get one right off the launch pad for you, and we're going to send it to you, and you're going to try it out, and then you can get back on with me, and you can tell me all about it.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I kind of forced you into that, didn't I?
It's true.
But you know, I just think that this is, I think this is, I'm going to call it powerful information. Very powerful. So Jill Baker says, now I get the pillow. So, okay, now I get the pillow. Can you discuss what materials make a good mattress and how firm it should be? It's a great question.
Yeah, it is a really, really good question. It's even more difficult to answer than pillows, because mattresses have so many different types of materials to make them out of. Every individual is going to have a different body shape and different design and different pokey parts. And a mattress needs to be able to be putting you into that neutral position while you're sleeping. So if say you're on your side and you're sleeping on your right side, you're going to want a mattress that you're not going to sink into. Now, the difficult thing is that you're not going to know whether your mattress that you're purchasing is going to sink or not unless you actually get on it. So,
right.
So the frustrating thing is that people will buy pillows, you know, over the internet without trying them per se. maybe not perhaps ours, but mattresses, you do truly have to test in order to find out, right? Because like we were talking about earlier with your hip sagging, there's certain materials that are going to be better. There are some Tempur-Pedic mattresses that are really, they have a very good dense foam material that will support your structure of your body. It will support your body alignment, but it will also absorb the pokey parts. And then other individuals say, goodness, you know what? That's way too hard for me. I need something with a topper on top of that. I prefer, a spring coiled mattress versus one that's going to be just a hybrid foam or whatever. It's truly an individual based experience. And in order to be able to pick the right mattress, you do have to take those things in consideration and go and test them out in person.
So interestingly enough, I remember when I was much younger and I had a soft mattress. And then my mother, my parents, they bought me another mattress and it was very firm. And at first I was like, I can't sleep on this. Are you kidding me? Of course you get, it's actually, there are people when you have back issues, they tell you that when you're a chiropractor, sleep on the floor, right? So obviously I got used to that. So it's funny you said about that soft pillow topper on a mattress. I can't sleep on that. It's too soft for me.
Yeah. And for some people, it is too soft. And other individuals will say, without that, they feel like their body almost kind of rolls and kind of tilts too much when they're sleeping, or they'll feel the firmer parts of their bones, like the trochanter in their hip, poking into the mattress. And you have a bursa on the outside of that trochanter. And if you have a hard mattress, for some people that bursa gets irritated, and they say, I wake up in the morning and I ache when I walk.
Right.
So it is truly, it's like a unique, process of being able to, find whatever one is best suited for you. But it definitely has to be experimental, as well as, taking into consideration your body type and also some conditions that you have.
Right. So Cole is asking, which is a better mattress, memory foam, box spring, or hybrid?
This is going to go back to the same thing that we were just talking about. They're all going to be individual, right? So each one of them is going to have a different sensation to it. The memory foam is going to have a different rebound. The box spring or a hybrid is going to be a mattress that's going to have springs on the internal core of it. And then they're going to have the memory foam components layered on top of it. They're all going to have very different sensations. So for individuals who, are tossing and turning, or they move almost kind of like a bouncing experience when they're laying in bed, the hybrid with the spring is going to move a little bit more, right? You're going to have much more of a rebounding effect. For some individuals, that rebounding effect is very comfortable for them. They like the springiness of it. Other individuals, they want a mattress like you see those commercials where they lay the glass of wine.
Right.
And then you got the kid bouncing on the other end.
Right.
Those have no rebound, right?
Right.
Those no rebounds are going to be more of the memory foam ones. And the memory foams are going to have less of that rebounding factor that are just different for people. And it depends on your preferences to what you like and what's most comfortable for you.
Yeah, we're coming to the end here. I was just going to say, like, I was never comfortable on a waterbed. I mean, it was just a very uncomfortable feeling for me. So for sure, as you say, it has to do with the individual. And, now there are beds actually where if there are two people sleeping in the bed, they could vary the temperature, they could vary the height, they could, and those are wonderful things because, like you said, it's not one size fits all for everybody. And it also depends on what stage of your life you at and what conditions you have. So those are really, a great way for that industry to be moving forward in terms of understanding that. And, what's good for one is not good for another. And then that creates arguments, it's too hot, it's too soft, it's too hard, whatever. But listen, thanks so much for helping us understand the importance of sleep and, on the mechanics of the body and the conditions that are affected by poor sleep and the BiPillow certainly goes a long way towards ensuring that each person who uses it in BiPillow is experiencing what should be what I'm going to call divine sleep that optimizes their body and overall health and well-being. We got one last comment here. So before I go on to introducing who's going to be here next week, Ken Shapiro is saying, is latex a better foam than memory foam mattress? And for a pillow, what happened to luxury down? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. There are individuals who do still love that luxury down feeling. They're not so concerned about the positioning of their neck. They wouldn't have generally TMJ or cervicalgia issues because the luxury down is gonna be compact, right? It's gonna shrink. As for latex and memory foam just have a different feel.
Right.
Latex has a very reboundy type feel to it. In pillows, it has the same as it does in mattress. Some of the pillows that have the latex core, the internal component being of latex, it is almost like it feels like a rubber ball sensation where you kind of push on it and you literally your head would lay on it and it would sort of kind of even almost like reverberate and rebound a little bit because of the way that the latex is. Now the memory foam is going to have a completely different feel. So the way that we describe it in the industry is called an IFD, which is basically like I would call it the density, right? The squish factor of a pillow. Latex is going to have a different squish factor than memory foam. Memory is going to have a different squish factor than polyurethane. Polyurethane is going to have a different squish factor than down. So it's all dependent upon what it is that your body likes and what conforms best for you and works best for you. Ours are polyurethane. And they have a very, very good, comfortable, but durably supportive density feel to them.
Cool. So once again, tell people they go to www.imbibelifestyles.com if they wanted to get any information or order any of these pillows.
Of course, yep. They can check out the information. They can read. We also have a sort of a factual how-to page that's on there for consumers that are wondering, well, how do I, buy a pillow? What size should I buy? Is it too big? Is it too small? And our fact sheet would be able to give them a little bit more information as well. So they're welcome to peruse that. And we'll be looking forward to coming back on and sharing our launch with you.
Okay. Sounds cool.
Phyllis, what a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really terrific. I learned a lot. And, we're going to be talking about my next pillow.
I'm excited. Have a great night to you and your audience.
You too. Thank you so much. So now for next week, I'm excited to have two guests on Senior Nation. Barry Berman is the CEO of Chelsea Jewish Life Care, and he has been in that position for the past 48 years. Barry Berman has devoted his career to building the long-term care community in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and surrounding areas by developing innovative models of care. I have visited both of them, and they are truly extraordinary. Mr. Berman began his tenure in Chelsea by expanding and rebuilding the Chelsea Jewish Nursing Home in 1983, he did that because he actually was the administrator of the nursing home, and his mother had had a stroke, and he brought her into the nursing home. And when he saw what happened to her, he was horrified. And so he was able to be in the position to take her home and care for her. But then he went about totally remodeling and reforming how care was delivered in this nursing home. It truly is extraordinary. In collaboration with his colleagues, Mr. Berman built the Cohen Florence Levine Estates in Massachusetts, which was the first mixed income assisted living. It opened in 1996. And the team then developed the Florence and Chavitz Home for Specialized Care in 2001, which is a more specialized assisted living environment targeted for people living with dementia and other compromising conditions. But then he developed the award-winning Leonard Florence Center for Living, the first urban greenhouse model nursing home in the nation. The center, which opened in February 2010, provides skilled nursing care in a home environment to older adults and those with medical and physical disabilities. 2 of the greenhouse homes at the Leonard Florence Center were originally dedicated to people living with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and MS, multiple sclerosis. The first such residences in the nation. And then in 2016, a third specialized residence was opened for 10 additional individuals living with ALS. And 2020 saw the opening of the Stein Family Center for Well-Being, which consists of 30 private rooms for individuals who are dependent upon ventilators, which, as I've talked about many times, happens to be my passion. So his awards include the Leaders of Tomorrow from Long-Term Living magazine, for his consistent efforts to make a difference in long-term care on a national level. And then going on to his co-guest, which is Betsy Mullen, who has 48 years of experience in the healthcare industry, working in settings across the healthcare continuum. She oversees the operations at Legacy Life Care, and she joined Chelsea Jewish Life Care 44 years ago as the director of nursing when the organization was just a single standalone nursing home. And she's also held the positions of executive director at most of the skilled nursing facilities and assisted living facilities, executive vice president of clinical operations, and chief clinical officer during her tenure. She also has, been bestowed upon her many awards. She's been a member of the Peer Network Board for the Greenhouse Project, now called the Center for Innovation, and she remains active in the culture change movement across the United States. And among her many awards, she was awarded the inaugural McKnight's Pinnacle Setting the Standard Award in 2023 and the Center for Innovation's Changemaker Award in 2024. And one of her favorite words quotes that she's guided by, which happens to be a quote that I am also guided by and share with patients and residents in long-term care and skilled nursing, as well as management's approach and attitudes toward the people who work for them, who deliver the care. And that is, I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people may forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so in closing tonight, I hope I made you feel great about thinking about your sleep moving forward and looking forward to next week's show. So until then, take care, stay well, and stay tuned.
Go for it. I'm just saying I'm not finished yet. Search for it, swing for it. Discover the me that lives in yes. Stand for it, stretch for it. It's my time, imagine my best. Run for it, reach for it. Uncover the me that lives in yes. I know, yes I know.